Hello everyone and welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host for today, Josh Deming, and today I will be interviewing Canadian winger Liam Millar. Liam, this is the second time you and I have now chatted. I appreciate the time as always. How are you doing today?
No, I'm good, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, it's always nice to chat, so I don't mind.
Well, I'm excited because Liam, you're about to play in the quarterfinals of Copa America. Can you just let me know how are you and the team feeling?
Yeah, I think we're all excited. I think we all know the opportunity here at hand, not just for us personally, but as a country and as a pushing towards a footballing nation. And I think we all know what this opportunity can bring for all of us, and we're all looking forward to it and all very excited.
So obviously Jesse Marsch is pretty new to the job here. I'm just curious to see what it's been like so far working under him.
No, it's been really good. For me personally, it's been a lot of similar stuff that I went through as a kid at Liverpool. A lot of the same kind of defensive tactics that I went through growing up, basically. So when I came in, it was quite a easy adjustment period for me to adjust to what he wanted from us and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, it's been good. I've really enjoyed working with Jesse so far. He's very demanding in what he wants, and I think as a group we needed that, and I think it's been very good so far.
How in any way has the culture of the team changed so far in the short time that Jesse's been in charge?
I would just say maybe we're a little bit more demanding of each other now. Not that we weren't before, but I feel like, just with him setting such high demands and high standards for us every day, that naturally as a group we've had to all chip in and be demanding of ourselves as well. So definitely say a little bit more demanding, and for sure we're much fitter than we were before. So
I was gonna say, I've heard from a few sources that training sessions have been intense, to say the word.
Yeah, they've been, especially in Atlanta. They were very intense in the heat as well. So it was tough, but it's all for the better. We played the last couple games in extreme heat. So to have a climate controlled stadium now, I think, with the level of fitness that we already have, I think you'll really see the level of fitness from everybody in this climate controlled stadium.
So let's rewind a little bit to that first match. How surreal was it to play against Argentina in front of 70,000 plus fans and also to share a pitch with Messi?
Yeah, I think, I think when you're growing up in your career and you see the likes of Messi and Ronaldo and, the best players in the world that you're growing up watching, and, I think it's your dream to play against those type of players. And, honestly, to play against Messi was surreal. You see him with the ball and the things he does is honestly unbelievable. And it's just good to be able to observe and whatnot, but also at the same time, you also just appreciate how far you've come from, being a young kid and whatnot. So I think that's very good, after the game, reflecting on that. But in the moment, in the game, I felt like we did very well, and, they are the best team in the world. And I think we really competed and really showed that, we can compete with these top level teams. And I think we really did ourselves and Canada proud in that game.
You absolutely did. But speaking of just after that game, was everyone on the team aware that once the match ended, Davies was going to be the one to go get Messi's jersey, or was it kind of up for grabs and he was the one who got there first?
I think everybody wanted it. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you watch the end of the game, you just see Fonzie just wandering over towards him, just waiting for it, so he was trying to make sure he was the first, yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I'm not surprised that he got Fonzie's shirt. They played against each other before, and they obviously know of each other, so it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest.
That's fair. Now let's go ahead a bit from the Argentina match to the Peru match. I just want you to explain to everyone out there to maybe describe how difficult it truly was to play in that scorching Kansas City heat.
Yeah, I was trying to say before the game that, we have to try and take the heat aspect out of the game, but to be honest with you, that was one of the toughest games I've ever had to play in. Every time you run, it was just very dry, and it was not comfortable to play in. The referee fainted. I think that kind of says it all, to be honest. But yeah, so it was obviously very, very tough, and it was a tough thing to do. And yeah, I think the fact that we got the result of that game again just shows our character and our determination for one another and to grind out to get results.
Now, I don't think a lot of people would have had on their bingo card Venezuela, Canada quarterfinals. So I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on the matchup, and what are your thoughts on Venezuela so far?
Yeah, obviously they have a lot of quality, going into the tournament. Would you have said that they're the favorites to win that group? Probably not, but they went in there and they showed everybody that they are a good team, and we have to respect that. To get 9 points in in a group is very, very difficult, and they did that. So, and also not the easiest group either with Mexico and Ecuador. They're also two very good teams as well. So I feel like we, again, have to respect them. But again, we have to be focused on what we need to do to beat them and just try and focus on that.
Once this tournament finishes, what are you hoping that the soccer world learns about this Canadian men's national team?
I think just the leaps and bounds that we've come. I think from the World Cup, and that was a big, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Not like downgrade, but like a big like hurdle, I guess you could say, in our development a little bit, because I think we all expected to do much better than we did, and I think we've definitely come so far, and being able to get our first result in a major tournament, like a Copa America or a World Cup, and then being able to be the first team to make it out of the groups in a major tournament as well. So I think it just shows the leaps and bounds that we've become, regardless how we do for the rest of the tournament, that we're on the right trajectory and we're going in the right path.
How would you compare your personal experience from this Copa America to the 2022 World Cup?
Yeah, it's tough to say, because the experience in the World Cup was special and was unique because it was a World Cup, the biggest tournament in soccer. So it was a unique experience. I've had more of a role now, in this camp than I did in the World Cup. So, I feel a little bit better about myself personally now, just because of how I've been able to have more of an impact. And yeah, but it's honestly, like it's two very similar experiences, but I feel like we just have that little bit extra now to be able to push on and to get results against the teams, because I think we go into the Argentina game where everyone expects us to lose, and we obviously don't think that way, but everyone expects us to lose that game. So when we lose that game, it's not that big of a deal. But then you play, no disrespect to Chile and Peru, but some people might think we might win, some people might think we might lose, and I think we went into those games where in the past we could have lost those games, or we could have not got the result that we needed in those games. And I feel like now we are very capable of getting the results we need to advance in a group.
Now, the title Kings of CONCACAF has been tossed out over the past few years, especially with your guys' incredible run topping World Cup qualifying for the 2022 World Cup. 2023, I'd say maybe swung a little bit back towards the U.S. men's national team, but obviously seeing them crash out in the group stage. What do you make of that? Is that title kind of a little bit more up in the air, or is that not something you worry about?
Yeah, I think it's just not something we worry about. I think it was nice at the time when we were going through it, just because I think we got to show, again, it's this whole journey for me since I've been on the team has just been a whole bunch of steps and just ups and downs and whatnot. But in that time, I think that was when we proved that we belonged and that we were at the same level as the U.S. and Mexico, and obviously now obviously Panama went through as well, but the U.S. Mexico didn't, and that's okay. It's a part of tournament football. Not everyone can go through all the time and whatnot. And yeah, I think that's just something that we try to not worry about anymore. We just try to focus on ourselves and just do the best job that we can.
So let's take a little bit at your journey. This last season with Preston North End, you played in 35 matches, you had 10 goal contributions. Would you say that this is your best professional season to date? And if so, what went behind it?
Yeah, I'll probably say so. I'll probably say my season in Basel, when I had 10 goals, I think I had and like 4 or 5 assists or something like that. I think I had higher highs in that season, where I definitely had games where I was like, wow, like I've done really well today. But I feel like this year at Preston, I've been much more consistent, and I feel like that's where I needed to be a little bit more. And I think it showed in my seasons in Basel that sometimes I was a little bit too up and down. And this year I've definitely been more consistent. So I would say from like a consistency point of view, 100% has been my best year. Also at the level that I'm playing at. Again, no disrespect to the Swiss League, but the Championship is a much tougher league to play in. So yeah, I would say consistency-wise and everything that it is. But, I think over the years, I've been putting in the work and been trying to improve every summer and during the season to make sure I'm the best version of myself. And, it's finally starting to pay off, but that doesn't mean that I'm putting my hands up and saying I'm happy with that. I've said in the past before that I want to be a Premier League footballer. I want to be an established Premier League footballer. That's my goal. and I know I need to put a lot more work in to get there.
Now, the last time I interviewed you, it was just before your move to Preston North End. I asked you what your favorite position was. You said very clearly winger. You played this season as a left wing back mostly. What was it like kind of, because you stepped up to the plate. I think you improved your game all over the pitch. You still had a ton of goal contributions. What was it like playing in that role this season?
Yeah, let me just clarify, that wasn't the plan when
No.
I was playing as a wing back. That was not the plan. But I went there, and the gaffer at the time thought that was the best thing for me, to play there in that position. That's where he saw that he could get the best out of me. So obviously I'm not going to argue with him. He's the coach. He makes the decisions. And, I've been very vocal that I don't enjoy playing as a wing back. So I also told him that, but at the end of the day, he's the coach and I have to respect that. So he put me there, and I played there, and I did the best of my possible ability and whatnot. So yeah, it's whatever,
Winger is still the favorite position. That didn't change.
Exactly, never
That didn't
changed.
change. All right. I feel like you have a unique take on this because we've been seeing more and more Canadian players heading to Europe. We've seen Canadian players in Europe taking big moves. Obviously, Kone going to Marseille comes to mind. You've played your entire senior career in Europe. What would your message be to other Canadian players out there looking to make the jump abroad?
I think take the risk. I think if I didn't jump on a plane and move to England when I was 12 years old, I wouldn't be a professional footballer. I had to sacrifice a lot, my friends, my family, everything to be able to do that. And I think that's the scariest part of it, is that you're leaving everybody behind. And, I always say that, good things never come without sacrifices. So if I was them and I have the opportunity, I would take the sacrifice. And I would try to do everything to push my way into Europe, because at the end of the day, those are where the best leagues in the world are, and those are where the most respected leagues are as well. So if you can get your way in there, and just work your way in there and just prove to everybody that you can play in Europe, then you start to get different moves and different things, and then everything comes from that. So
I love the message. Completely agree. Liam, thank you so much again for the time, and best of luck for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, cheers, Josh. Thank you.
Exciting news for the channel. I'm thrilled to announce that JJD TV is partnering up with BetStamp and SignUp Expert. This opens up an incredible opportunity for you to join up with some of my favorite sports books to get the best odds and user offers throughout Copa America. Head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/JJDTV to explore a selection of sportsbooks tailored to your region, each with unique offerings. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level throughout this tournament and want to show some love for the channel, I highly recommend you signing up for your next sportsbook through my SignUp Expert link. You can easily find it in the description of this video.